Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome along to this week's Sofamanager Scottish Football Podcast in sound. Just sound. There's no vision, sadly. Just sound. So, anyway, on this week's podcast, we are going to be talking about the lower league lure. So, the lure of the English Championship and League One to the top Scottish players instead of going to Rangers and Celtic. Bit of a talking point there. We are also going to be talking about loaners. We are not referring to ourselves, hopefully.
Maybe.
Well, but we're referring to star players that have come to the Scottish leagues on loan, who we've liked, who we've not liked, and does the system work? Does it improve our club? We're also going to be talking championship chat. Some of the guys were out in the rain at Capello at the weekend, so we'll hear how wonderful that was. And to round off this week's podcast, we will have matches of the week. Brackets working title for our rebranded prediction show. Who knows how it's actually changed. Anyway, the fellow two blind mice joining me on this week's podcast is the executive Capello chauffeur. It's John Brown.
Hello.
Second time you've driven through to Capello, actually. Third. How was the parking?
Better.
Better?
Actually.
Good. Glad to hear it. And alongside John is David Moyes' twin brother. It's Darren Gibson.
Hello.
You do look incredibly like Darren.
I look like Darren.
You look like Darren.
In the middle.
Kevin Moyes, what's his name? David Moyes.
David Moyes.
And he had a good weekend, so presumably you had a good weekend as well.
That was okay, yeah.
You're voodoo dolls of each other. And of course, myself, the world's sketchiest announcer in Scottish football, Paul Menzies. So, I think we'll just crack straight on with things, shall we? Good. So first things first, the news this week. And probably my favourite story of the week, everyone's away kind of on holiday at the moment. Not least of all, Glasgow Rangers Football Club. Where are they, Darren?
Florida.
Florida.
Yes.
Not bad for some, eh? And this actually led to quite an entertaining picture.
Indeed.
That one would not have predicted at all.
The gift that keeps on giving.
Well, I know. Jimmy Nicholl striding down what looks like Main Street USA or something in like Universal, surrounded by cartoon characters, I believe, is the actuality.
That's no way to describe the Rangers board.
Well, I was about to say, not the most hilarious picture of taking Jimmy Nicholl this season, who's been next to Paul Hartley. So,
A pirate of the Caribbean.
but do you think that was part of the lure to Rangers? They're like, Jimmy, we're going to Florida.
Mate, Fortnite in Florida.
There's a trip to see SpongeBob SquarePants, and the rest of the guys, you coming out. I am there.
Fantasia in 4D.
Oh, Fantasia is decent. Don't diss Fantasia. Can he beat a bit of is it Magic Mickey that's in Fantasia?
Yes.
Yes.
Good.
He was my fave. I was buzzing when I got a picture with him in Florida, by the way. I'd love to go back. We should make the Sofamanager summer tour to Florida. Subscribers, you're welcome to come along.
Big convention.
Yes. Well, big convention.
Convention.
Maybe not. Have you been to Florida, actually?
Yeah, a couple of times.
When was the last time you went there?
Last year, 2 years ago.
2 years ago?
I think so. 2000.
Oh, of course, John, of course. Studied partially in America.
I went to LA for a week and then Florida for a week.
I'd love to go back. You go?
I've never been. No.
Never been? Oh, we need to take you down.
Good.
Absolutely sensational. You get to meet all the Disney characters and get your picture taken with them. Same with the Rangers players, apparently.
Sounds good.
Yep. To be honest, there was like a fans meet and greet there, as you do.
No?
And looking at the pictures on the Instagram, it's all these grown men that are like pure buzzing on meeting like Andy Halliday and Josh Windass, and you're like, really?
I mean, there are quite a few of them like that. I seen a picture of the Hibs team with a bunch of fans in Portugal.
Yeah,
I
okay.
think they're in Portugal.
Yes.
Which was quite interesting. Aberdeen did a meet and greet with their expats in Dubai.
I felt that was
Celtic did it
ambitious
as well.
I think Celtic had more success. I saw people
Yeah.
at theirs. I don't know.
I mean, most of the Aberdeen fans will be working on an oil rig somewhere
yeah.
in the desert.
If you know someone from Aberdeen, you know someone that's been to Dubai.
Yep.
At some point, it's basically the gist of it. That's a good point, actually.
No, I was jealous. I'm not going to lie.
Of meeting the Rangers players, I know.
Well,
I can imagine I would wet. Their kids were like elbowed out the way, left, right, and centre. It was absolute carnage. Quite a few people have travelled though. I'm going to say over 1,000 Rangers fans in Florida, maybe. I guess.
is that like Glasgow Rangers fans or like Orlando-based Rangers fans?
It could be. It's a bad time of year because I know
It's one of these places. Like, doesn't matter where you go in the world,
Yeah.
there will be a Rangers or Celtic
Oh, yeah.
supporters club.
Oh, that's right. Aye,
So
definitely.
they will be out in force.
well we saw Was it in Tenerife? Kieran Tierney turned up in his classic Celtic top,
Yeah.
reflecting the mood of a proper Celtic fan, which we was lauded for. I don't know. I'm not so convinced myself. But yeah, I know one of the guys on Instagram runs like a USA-based Rangers fan club, but he's at college, so like I don't think you're going to get away to go and see all that, are you? And everyone's in school, and
If he's at uni, he's not going to.
it's no worth
too
the journey.
bothered.
No worth the journey.
It's an awkward time of the year, though.
I know, but they've done quite well out there. They've beaten 2 Brazilian teams.
Yep, aye. Moreno, was it Moreno?
Atletico Moreno and
Corinthians, yeah. Corinthians game was good, I've seen that.
They came from 2-0 down, did they?
Yeah, they were winning. Corinthians were winning 2-0 at half time, and then Rangers came back in the second half to win 4-2. But Corinthians did change the team for the second half. So,
is there anyone we'd know from Corinthians anymore? Or?
Joe plays for them, but he wasn't. He wasn't playing in that game.
Oh, he was average.
Yeah, a little bit.
I just remember, was it Tevez? Tevez was a Corinthians player, and I'm sure Mascara.
Sure, he was. Yeah.
Speaking of Tevez, his team were out playing Partick Thistle. Where were they playing Partick Thistle? I think out in Spain or something like that.
Probably.
Shanghai Shenhua.
Why would they be playing Partick?
Well, do you know what the score was?
I have no idea.
No,
Partick won it
2-1 Partick, yeah.
Oh, was it?
Do you know who got the goal for Shanghai Shenhua?
Who plays for Shanghai these days?
Let me read out
I couldn't even tell.
the rap sheet. So, Partick Thistle beating Shanghai Shenhua 2-1. Players like Carlos Tevez, Freddie Huarin, Oafembe Martins, and Demba Ba are no match for Blair Spittle, Danny Devine, and James Pernis. So it was Demba Ba actually that got the goal for
was it?
Shanghai. Yeah.
What a boy.
Demba
I didn't know that's where it ended up.
Nobody else did. Formerly of Chelsea, glory. But Partick were like the only ones to actually win one of these friendlies. I think maybe Aberdeen won, but they were playing some Tajikistani rubbish.
Like Karabag or something?
No, it was worse than that. Although apparently there was a former Aberdeen player who's now coaching that team. How have you sourced that? But no, they won, and I think Hibs got beat by Willem 2. Hearts drew, did they, with Vitesse Arnhem? So
No idea.
we haven't performed that great, apart from Partick beating the Chinese Super League. Have you ever watched any of the Chinese Super League at all?
Once or twice. It's dreadful.
It's hard to watch.
Cannot
Yeah,
take it at all.
yeah.
It's a weird league because you've got the squad was huge when I looked it up on Wikipedia.
It's a big country.
Well, maybe it is reflected in the squad size. I don't know, but it's obviously loads of Chinese guys who are kind of.
They're not quite there.
They're developing, yes, and watching it on telly because I know Sky made a big deal about it for a while.
Yeah, did they put a plug on that? Actually?
I've not
really
seen a game
many
in a
games
while.
lately. Yeah,
I think the times are a bit funny.
Yeah,
for a start.
A bit of gap filler at 3 a.m.
Aye. But it was very slow paced. It was quite clumsy at times.
Yeah,
and the goals these guys were getting were fairly easy sort of goals.
I've only really seen like highlights, in particular Oscar.
Mm-hmm.
Was he not one of the Shanghai teams? Is it SIPG or something?
Because they don't have very catchy names that are easy to remember. So it's
Shenhua is the only one I remember. He just looked so out of place. It was unreal.
Yeah,
like real star quality, and then the rest is just mince around him.
I know,
it's awkward, really awkward.
It's how you kind of build your league, though, isn't it? With superstars, because the likes of Pele went to Japan, did he, for a while, and
I don't know. I mean,
there was that thing in America in a while with the New York Cosmos, and the MLS is still kind of
done it a little bit. They do it every now and again. Schweinsteiger at Chicago, Robbie Keane.
Ashley Cole signed on for another year at Galaxy, I believe.
Oh, had he? They're doomed. I follow them quite a lot. They're dreadful now.
Oh dear.
And the Mexican striker
Giovanni Dos Santos.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's another guy called Giovanni Dos Santos who plays for him in midfield as well.
Really?
Yeah, ex-Villarreal. It's his brother.
Both mints.
Really?
Yeah.
That's weird that they've both taken such different paths to end up at the same place.
Yes.
They both left Villarreal, actually. I was checking that the other week, though. And then they went to LA Galaxy, but obviously his brother's been like, you want to come and join me?
He was going to be the next big thing at one point, mind, and it never,
Oh,
He was a good player.
never really panned out.
Never worked, but never mind.
They don't have that good, that French player who's quite rapid as well. Is it Alessandrini? He plays for them or something.
Oh, yeah.
The other Argentinian boy as well was quite good. Never really worked out though. Joel Van Dam, the centre back, not great.
Would be better with Jean-Claude.
Indeed. Better kicker anyway.
Aye. That's true. Coors Light, sorry. Refreshing beer, so no. Well done to Partick. One of the only ones getting a win there. But Rangers at the moment actually are giving us still most of our transfer news. They're rebuilding the team for the second time this season.
Yep.
Seem to be getting rid of the most of the kind of the Latin influences, apart from Morelos. I think this week they've been linked. I think Greg Doherty from Hamilton, who looks like he might go there.
Reasonable.
It's all right. I think that'd be interesting for the likes of O'Halloran, who's obviously gone back, and linked to see where he lies in the squad.
Yeah, that's true.
He's a bench warmer. He's not that kind of quality though.
Well, we're signing like Jamie Murphy and stuff. If you've got,
He's
Murphy,
a good signing. If Dorrans comes back, he's a good signing. The boys are trying to go to Norwich as well. The centre back,
Russell Martin.
Martin, yeah.
He'd be good. I think that depends on Bruno Alves leaving.
Yes, he's obviously on huge money as well. Is he not?
I'll bet.
35k or something a week,
Probably plus bonus.
bonkers. And apparently someone like McRory's on like 3, which is absolutely insane, and playing ahead of him. Have you heard the other rumour? The other midfielder Rangers have been linked with.
No.
Oh, John.
Who's that?
You not heard this?
No, I've not heard this.
Scott Arfield.
Really?
I heard the rumours, but I wasn't sure if they were actually true. I thought it was just...
Arfield.
I think there's too many Premier League clubs, English Premier League clubs interested.
Well, I believe West Ham, Darren's also interested. So he's of course the manager.
Actually, I was talking to you about this the other day. It was like Newcastle, West Ham,
Watford, Swansea,
Huddersfield. There was like 5 teams trying to get
He
him.
might go back to Huddersfield.
Oh, that's a good shout, actually. He's a solid, dependable player. He's not going to light up the world, but
That's by any stretch. I don't think he would go to Rangers.
well, the price they're talking about is $3 million, which I think kind of prices Rangers out of it.
Yeah.
If anyone at Rangers has any sense.
Not the kind of guy you would want to go for, to be honest.
No, but it was a rumour, and I thought it would maybe get old Falkirk fans going, no, come back here first, Scott.
Well, you're not looking at Jason Cummings as well, on loan.
I did hear that. I heard that. Actually.
Well, also Naismith as well, who I think Hearts have made an initial approach for.
Yeah.
Hearts have actually made a move. I think it'd be too expensive for Kilmarnock.
Rumour is his current wages are what, 50,000 a week, and he's going to but he's going to take a huge hit no matter what happens. But then Hearts have that wage cap that they lifted for Kyle Lafferty, so
They're going to do it again for another guy.
That would be kind of not sticking to their guns.
Be interested if they went to Hearts though. That would be for like strike force. Him and Lafferty would be quite interesting.
It would. Did they play together at Rangers? They probably did.
For a very short
For
spell.
a short time, I think they did.
So rekindle that relationship there, which would be a bit strange, but
I don't see him going back to Rangers. Though.
No,
I think too many bridges were burned at that one.
Exactly.
I think he made the right decision. Also, talking of Edinburgh front men, there was a bid for Simon Murray. 6 figures from, let me look at my notes,
Team from Turkey.
Elazığ Sport. Yes, a Turkish team, John. 6 figures. It was turned down by Neil Lennon. However, between Simon Murray, Ollie Shaw, Anthony Stokes, and this new Australian
They got
boy,
a new signing, didn't they? Yeah.
Is it McLaren?
Yep.
Sure it was, yeah.
McLaren.
Rapid.
Yes. Oh, he is. Yeah, yes. He is actually rapid. 90 FIFA stats. So, is there a place for Simon Murray in this Hibs team now? Because he's been in and out, with the focus very much being on Stokes, I think.
I don't know. He was okay at Dundee United. In fact, he was more than okay. He was actually really quite good.
Mm-hmm.
But I still think he needed about 4 or 5 chances per game for him to get a goal, or even get a sighted on goal. And he would come out with a kind of every now and again scoring an absolute screamer. I remember him doing it against Falkirk.
Mm-hmm.
$500,000, I would take it straight away.
Yeah.
Without even questioning it.
I think he's a good striker, to be honest. But I can't see Neil Lennon really having him in his plans if he's bringing in other strikers and that. You know?
I mean, I don't know how a ginger kid's going to cope in Turkey though with that heat and just burnt to a crisp.
There's been a few Scottish players that have gone out to Turkey, and I can't name you one that's made a success of it.
There's very few players who've actually left the UK and made any form of success.
True.
In recent years.
In recent years, yeah.
In fact, in any years, let's be honest.
Yeah, I know.
Paul Lambert may be the only one that comes to mind
No,
straight away.
that's true. Loved a bit in Germany. John Collins went abroad. Maybe I made that up. I don't know.
I think he might have.
I think he went to Monaco or something. Yeah.
Yeah. Tunis kicked about, I think.
Well, he came to Rangers from Napoli, But who knows how well that was going. TV wasn't really a thing back in the day, so we will never know.
In the last decade, there's very, very few.
I know, so I don't think it would be a good idea to go abroad, but staying here. Also, Greg Tansey to Ross County from Aberdeen.
Standard.
Aye, back up north. He obviously was an Inverness player before, so familiar ground.
He never settled at Aberdeen. In fact, they never even got a chance, really.
Well, we waited 2 years for him, essentially, because McInnes was always after him every window. And then when he arrived, we were like,
this guy's actually rubbish.
Yeah.
He never played much, did he? Really?
No, well, we saw him in the development league.
Oh, right.
And for a player of that calibre, shouldn't he be dodging about full fitness in a development league match? But also the big transfer, Nadir Chifchi to Motherwell Football Club.
I had heard that.
I think he was out on loan at Oldham, I believe, and Plymouth.
With Derek
Plymouth,
Adams.
That's right.
Really?
Yeah.
And they didn't want him. So
they only played like 4 games or something.
Adams wanted them back, but I think it was like cover, really, rather than first team regular. I think Chifchi wanted regular football, so it's quite a good move. He's a very different striker to Louis Moult.
Yes.
So I don't know if he'll fit quite so seamlessly into that team. He might.
I think they now have options in that. They got the English guy Curtis Main in, and they've got him. And I wonder if back on old ground, as in playing in the Scottish Premiership, he might find that old firm he had
at a similar level as well to what Dundee United was.
Yes.
Yeah, no, every chance he could.
Similar colour too.
Tangerine, claret,
orangey, sorry. So that might help.
Your eyesight isn't that great.
Aye, we'll eagerly await and see. Last bit of transfer news is Celtic apparently looking at Franco De Santo, former Wigan striker.
I think that's just hot air.
Probably. I always like to end on an ambitious transfer rumour. I think it was Daniel Sturridge last week.
Where is he these days? Like?
Daniel Sturridge plays with Liverpool,
No.
Dan. The last time I remember seeing Franco De Santo
was at Schalke, as you know.
he was in Germany. I don't know if he ended up in China.
That'd be an interesting move, actually.
I don't think he went to China. I think he is still at.
You think he is still at Shanghai?
Germany somewhere.
The big thing I remember about him was I had a Wigan career mode in FIFA. Where they were relegated, but they still had all the Premier League players.
Yeah.
And the defender Juan, that Brazilian guy.
Yes.
They were in the Championship with like an 86 rated defender. I was like, how have I arrived at this?
Big money.
So, Schalke, well done, John.
Well done, John.
And his potential was like 99. And he used to play alongside Hugo Rodallega.
Oh, yeah.
Blast from the past there. And that Championship strike line was insane. Like, I blasted through the Championship on amateur. No bother. So, it wasn't quite amateur. I think I'd built up to semi-pro. Yeah, by that point. It's probably not even a joke. So, it'd be interesting. I think that's where teams like Celtic find their success, and players like that. Celtic have actually been quite quiet in the transfer market.
But they've got a very good squad. I would rather be players coming out than going in. Liam Henderson must be itching to get out the door. I think they're quite happy to get maybe a centre back, Simunovic, on the move, perhaps.
Yeah, I think they were looking at was it Napoli? Or looking at him because they were worried about losing De Vrij to Barcelona. I think.
Yeah, that was the rumour.
If you're going to take anyone out of Napoli as a centre back, you would take Koulibaly. You wouldn't take De Vrij.
Yeah, but I don't think Koulibaly's been on it as much as he has in previous seasons.
He's an absolute beast. And folk were trying to get Umtiti out of Barcelona as well. I was reading that.
Were they?
He's hopeless.
Man City. And
but he was never that good for Leon in the first place, so everyone was like...
I think he's a good enough player. In La Liga.
Well, if anyone's a good enough player in La Liga. Giovanni Dos Santos is a good enough player in La Liga. No. Well, we'll wait and see how that pans out. And of course, Falkirk have basically replaced half the team. So,
with loanees, which I'm sure we'll
come into that later. So, I think now we'll go on to kind of a roundup of the results at the weekend.
Indeed.
So, these two lucky lads, Darren and John, decided to go. And I was gutted it was my brother's 21st, so I couldn't make it. I would have still gone, not realising that the horrendous weather affected. So,
I didn't expect it to be that bad.
Well, Cappy Low. What did you?
I didn't know the weather was to be that bad.
Cappy Low looking at the.
I knew what it's like, but
Cappy Low looking at the footage from various vloggers is an older style stadium, and some people have romance for these kind of stadiums. Did it feel romantic in the pouring rain, open air?
It really didn't.
It's not even really terracing.
It's just a bit of concrete they've chiselled in the seats.
A bit of concrete.
It's just all concrete.
But I saw when Falkirk scored, because the final score, of course, 1-0. against Morton, everyone was like running down the front,
Yeah.
you know, as they do in like Germany and stuff like that. It doesn't have the same effect when there's like 50 folk in the pouring rain at Cafe Low.
There was like a pause there though. It was like someone came on across, and then everybody started to think, right, we should actually run down there. So there was like a moment.
Let's go.
Pause, but then everybody started doing it.
Yeah.
It's good.
Very kind of half-worried.
Yeah.
Should we or shouldn't we?
Everyone was worried about slipping on the wet surface, I'm sure.
Fair play to the
It is
lads for
slippy
doing
that, I know, is that? Yeah.
It's just a plastic cover over the concrete.
Is it?
Oh, aye,
Terrible.
yeah.
Oh, it's just, the bit that really got me though was the kind of side stand, the shed that runs on the side.
Oh, yeah.
Massive big kind of cordoned off area. They couldn't have shoved all the Falkirk fans in that were standing.
I thought that, aye.
It was like, hey, come on lads, like what is seriously going to go down here? Like,
It's just rude, isn't it?
indeed.
But so I see even like from parts of that stand, you can't really see the corner and stuff like that.
Oh,
so
you
it's
can't.
restricted,
That's true, aye.
restricted viewing.
20 quid as well.
What?
Aye.
Well, we're no students anymore. That's the problem.
Well,
That was the only place I think I've ever been thoroughly checked my student ID. Like they looked at it for a solid 10, 15 seconds.
no one goes to uni in Greenock.
Well, maybe that's the case. How many trains actually did you count? Because when I was there last time, the railway running was
It was
too
a more
cold.
interesting game this
More
time.
interesting game. So I guess brings us on to the game. How did Morton fare? Would you say?
Toothless.
That's what I've been hearing from their fans as well.
Yeah, they weren't
That's
very good
ridiculous.
actually.
They had absolutely nothing going through the midfield. Gary Harkins never had time in the ball to really dictate. But beyond that, they've had nothing.
The white-clawed Mackay-Steven is of course known.
Aye,
He was the only one that looked like he could do something, but he did have a bit of an off day too, to be honest.
I saw they had their chances though. There was a few.
Four cleared off the line. It could have been another day. And fundamentally, they never.
4 cleared off the line that could have been on another day. Yeah, they had 1 or 2 just.
half chances.
Aye.
Falkirk were the better team in the first half. Morton did come into it, as John said, like a couple of clearances off the line in the second half, but still you did feel that Falkirk were in control, which this season you wouldn't really, you've not seen too much not really seen much of that from Falkirk. But I was quite impressed. I've not seen Falkirk for a while, and a lot of these new signings I thought they actually done quite well. The 2 new strikers and the boy at the left back, is it Robson?
He was class.
He was good actually, the boy from Sunderland.
Alright.
So yeah, a couple of new signings look good, I thought. Just need to get goals, the strikers.
Well, that's it. I mean, this other kind of new boy they've got up front, Nelson.
I had a couple of good chances.
Nelson, yeah.
He chases down a lot, does a lot of kind of hard graft. I think his finishing's much to be desired. But I don't know if that's just
John Bear.
Yeah, it does. It reminds you a bit like John Bear.
He's a bit quicker than John Beard. He's a little bit more physical than John Beard. Finish quite as well. Which we'll see. They've got this other new guy on loan for Watford, Alex Jakobig.
Oh, good. Yeah, one of my favourites from the Watford Academy.
That guy.
Wasn't in the squad at the weekend.
Was he not?
Waiting an international clearance for an Englishman.
International clearance?
Yes.
He's played for Scotland under
he's
19s or something.
He's
right?
actually Scottish, playing for an English team. He speaks with an English accent. That's probably why it's confused people. But
we're at the border, like, must be international. You know, that's the thing. I saw Swansea at the weekend were playing that Oliver McBurney.
Yeah,
who's like Scottish but was born in England, lived his
Right.
whole life there, but plays for Scotland. And I believe he'll have some heritage. You can't have a name like McBurney without, practically being Scottish, to be fair. Find it a bit weird.
his ancestors probably signed like the Treaty of Arbroath or something.
Maybe the Treaty of Arbroath. Is that a thing?
Aye.
Thing in history? Oh.
The Declaration of Arbroath, I should say.
Oh, right.
That's a thing.
I've exposed my knowledge there. But no, I was impressed. The Falkirk goal had a bit of luck about it, but Craig Sibbald was very composed with his finish.
Yep.
Didn't blast it over the bar, kept it controlled. Wee deflection, was it?
Yeah.
Big deflation.
But Morton really struggling now. I mean, that's a loss against Falkirk. They drew with Brecon last week, which is dismal.
Yep.
And they've slid all the way back down to 7th now.
Aye, they're in the kind of next to another line of sight.
No, I can't. Alright, hold your jets there.
Don't get your head of
Long
yourself.
way to go there.
We're on our way back.
I think that's the good thing about Falkirk, though, is, maybe not playing at their absolute greatest at getting chances, but not finishing many, and they're still winning a game. Whereas earlier on in the season, they just couldn't.
No, there was no sort of drive about them at all. Nothing going forward. It's a different story now. They've got a good setup. It kind of suits the players that are there. Might not be the most effective, but it gets the job done, and you can't really argue against that.
No.
Is that their first away win? No.
No, actually beat Morton the last time they were there as well.
Right, okay.
Alex Smith was in charge. It's Paul Hartley's first away win, I'm sure.
Is it? Well, I was sceptical of Hartley when he came in, and I still don't think he'll last the distance, but the signings are panning out.
So far, I like this is the kind of managerial bounce you expected, but it's because he's bringing in his own players. Because quite nice to say, it's 3 wins in the last 5.
Well, as well, we have to look at, we were lauding them on the podcast so much last week, which went up a little bit late, my bad, after the Inverness defeat in midweek.
After they say, maybe we got a good result.
Yeah, everyone's like, oh, we're flying high, we're buzzing, boom, 3-0 at half time.
3-0 at half time, 4-1 defeat.
Game finished at 4-1, and Inverness are really their rivals for the rest of the season now, I think.
We'll come on to the Inverness scenario.
Well, no, it was good, but Morton, just their stars, like Tongo's not really firing all cylinders.
He's not really there.
Harkins is a great player, but he's not going to win you games. He's
not anymore, he's past it. You got Luca Gasparotto at centre back, just painful.
I know, the keeper didn't look all that handy as well.
Gaston, I think his name is.
The Buffon of the Scottish League's the only guy I know with short sleeves.
Brave man.
Aye.
I was freezing.
Especially on that day.
So it's sadly not the season they had last season, but I think Morton just hope for a good season every now and then, don't they, really?
5th or 6th place is normally reasonable for them.
Pitch didn't look that great either, from my reckoning.
Pitch never held up.
No.
It was, like I say, it was horrendous.
Yeah, we were drenched from head to toe. I had to go and get a bobble at half time team.
Well, there's still a big queue at the van that they have.
There always is at Morton. I don't know what it is, but there always is.
Get another van.
No, how hard could it be? Someone must be selling one off cheap.
I even got 2 bacon rolls just to
go
with that bobble. No pies though, I was a bit disappointed.
Oh dear. That's ridiculous. You can't go to a football game and there'll not be any pies.
I'll go for a pie supper after this. I can't wait.
Oh goodness. Best pie I've ever had. House of Brewer on the road to Inverness. Stupidly expensive, but absolutely fantastic.
Listen to the wah-wah here.
I know exactly.
Wah. It's all this announcing money I get, John.
High life.
Lol.
Hey, blonde that Stirling Albion scarf.
I do like that. Oh dear, sorry, a bit of an inside joke there, listeners. Elsewhere in the Championship, Inverness beat Queen's Park. Queen of the South, sorry.
Get the right one.
3-1. I've just got Queens written down on my sheet of paper. So, I think one of the new boys getting the goals there for Inverness. Oh, for goodness sake! High tech here, guys. There's a new Microsoft Surface in play. So, what do your notes say now that you've unlocked your stupid machine that takes?
So I'm actually going to have a rant about Queen of the South and Inverness's lack of highlights.
Oh, right, okay.
In fact, we are the only team that's actually got highlights up.
Even though they're filmed by an epileptic.
Sunday recording. Well, that's your gripe on Falkers.
I know.
Highlights.
Oh, anyone could. I could juggle a camera and it could look smoother than the footage that gets back for Falkirk. Anywho.
Yes.
But at least there are highlights. Very quickly put together, well done.
They're reasonable, they do their job. Kind of. So, we know nothing about this game. This is finished 3-1. 4 people scored. Inverness got 3 points.
And that's it.
Next.
Who are they? Well, I saw for Queen of the South, McFadden's been released now, hasn't he?
He was on off the ball.
Well,
touting himself.
Did you know that people from Off the Ball are listening from Germany, the United States?
Yes, I was reading this.
I'm like, because James McFadden gave his interview on a podcast totally dissimilar to ours, of course. I think we are actually different this week as far as topics are concerned. And they were like, oh, he's had phone calls from America and stuff. Who's picking that up? Who's sitting in their room in Los Angeles?
The Tampa Bay Rowdies going.
Yes! Here's the most ill-informed Scottish football player. Maybe they're listening to us now. Who knows?
Darren, you look for a gig?
Yeah, you look for a booth. Yeah. David Moyes, West Ham to LA Galaxy, Orlando City, or whatever they're called.
Why not?
I wouldn't say no.
I would go. So if you need any professional American podcasting, do get in touch.
We're signed as seen.
Exactly. Yeah, I heard. Definitely heard. So no, I think Inverness have kind of got themselves together a bit recently. A bit like Falkirk kind of let some people go, brought some people in, waiting on a few injuries.
Nathan Austin.
Nathan Austin and John Baird. It's a bad move, but I think one of the new lads did score at the weekend, so that's panned out. Is there any names that stand out to you on that score sheet, John?
Vigors, Joe Chalmers used to play for Falkirk and Motherwell.
Oh, right.
And Doran
Doran. I think,
They're kind of
and Doran.
guys that have been there all the time.
Maybe. So they move up the league a little bit, do they?
Okay, so that gives us that kind of talking point.
All right.
Will they make the playoffs?
No.
Neither
No,
do I.
I
don't know
don't
what
think they will,
all this
no.
talk is. It's
Well, the Inverness.
Inverness making the playoffs is
Just because they've had a couple of good victories. So.
very premature.
I mean, the thing is with the Championship last season, anything could have happened. Because everyone was spinning their wheels, getting draws left, right and centre. So there was the chance of a team to absolutely somersault. And to be honest, Dunfermline actually got...
They were damn close.
Aye.
And so were St Mirren after a
Strong language,
horrendous.
flipping. Well, St Mirren got themselves out of bother just in the end. I think Dunfermline were the big vaulters who held Dundee United to a draw at East End Park.
Curious to see what happens to them.
They're so up and down as
They've
well,
hit their
though.
dip. This is the kind of thing, like, you're seeing Inverness in a kind of purple patch, in a kind of high, United are on a low. Give it 3 weeks, it'll be roles reversed.
The thing is, Dundee United will get the players back for injury, although I think a few of them are long term.
Fivey and Ryan Fraser?
Yeah, I think so.
Scott Fraser, Ryan Fraser.
Yeah, one of the two.
Both out for the season, so that's a real blow for them, because they were good players.
But I guess they'll be happy to come back from a 6-1 with a 0-0, and that's 2 away games in a row.
Yep.
So maybe they'll be looking kind of back home, but that's 8 points to St Mirren now. And they've got a game in hand, but you wouldn't put your money on them winning that game in hand necessarily.
Away to Queen of the South, so it's not ideal.
Anything could happen there, but God, credit St Mirren, 8 points ahead of Dundee United, who must have...
Doing really well.
Given the difficulty of our league championship, that's impressive, very impressive.
I mean, he got Manager of the Month as well, I think, Jack Ross, posing very nicely with some lovely patio tiles St Mirren floor, which I was very...
Well deserved.
Sure,
Well-
cherish that.
Yes, well photographed. As an accomplished Instagrammer, I can appreciate it. Thank you for the 10,080, the 1,080 follows on Instagram. Go and give us a like if you're interested, and good 1,000 of you please listen to the podcast every week. It would help us a lot. So no, well done them, and to keep a hold of Lewis Morgan, obviously on loan.
No, that's good, yeah.
Absolutely fantastic, and Danny Mullen as well, and even the likes of Cammy Smith, I think, got a goal at the weekend.
Is he on loan from Aberdeen? Or is he
No, I think he's
permanent?
signed.
Permanent.
So it's just a cracking squad of young players.
Aye. He's got them playing well. You can see Jack Ross going a lot further than even just say Aberdeen went in for him after McInnes. He could do better.
I would like to see him take the team up and see what he can do in the Premiership, and then look about. We'll see if that time's afforded to him. It depends, obviously, what jobs come up.
Absolutely.
At this stage, Livingston beat Brecon 2-0. Livingston have kind of quietened down a bit after a roaring start to the season.
They have. I mean, it's hard to believe those were the two sides that came up from League One last season.
That's true, yeah.
Oh, Brecon, aye.
Who have collapsed completely and utterly. Must be difficult being a Brecon fan, eh? Knowing your team's going to get pumped every week.
But still going. Who's it? I saw, was there a Broth fans at Stranraer or something? I'm like, wow.
Oh, yeah.
There was somewhere, there was
That's who they were playing,
hundreds of them, and I was like, why? Why? Who's got the... And to the same extent, it's like Partick fans going out to Portugal, or Hibs fans going out to Portugal. It's like, who's got that time on their hands and that money? That's what I don't understand about seeing the Champions League and stuff. Who's got the money just to follow Chelsea to like St. Petersburg and Russia and all that jazz?
Good question.
Absolutely crazy. So no, aye, Morton kind of need to up their game after losing points to two bottom sides, and well done St Mirren.
Absolutely. There you go.
So I guess kind of rounds off our Championship chat now. Moving on a little bit to talking point we mentioned at the start of the show. Lower League Lures. So recently we had Jamie Walker went to Wigan of League One when we knew there were strong interest from Rangers at points. Who knows, maybe they didn't act on it properly, whatever. But he has chosen this move to Wigan, which got me thinking, back in the day, I always thought the strongest Scottish players generally turned to Rangers or Celtic. A few I've listed in my notes here. Scott Brown and Kevin Thompson, that famous time at Hibs.
Yeah,
went to Rangers and Celtic respectively. Well, we know how that panned out for both of them. Well done, Kevin. Neil McCann, Chris Boyd, Stephen Naismith going to Rangers. Barry Robson, Dundee United to Celtic, was one of the stars of the league. And the last two I've got Andreas Velichka, star with Hearts, going to Rangers. And then, of course, Nadir Chifji going from
Celtic.
Dundee United.
Yeah.
So kind of some more recent, some older examples. In terms of players we saw pick other teams, recent ones was Jamie Walker, Stevie Mallon chose to go down south, Liam Lindsay, part of this as well, Louis Moult. Jason Cummings is a good one. Barry Mackay at the door at Rangers, don't know if that was his choice. James MacArthur and McCarthy went to Wigan, who at the time weren't a Premier League team.
I thought they were.
Not when McCarthy went, surely. I don't think they were.
I thought they were.
Both were, aye.
You sure?
Yep.
Well, that's maybe a different case. And then Greg Stewart, who went to Birmingham City
Yes.
at the time, no matter how well that panned out. So the question I ask is, are the old firm losing their appeal, or are they just not interested in Scottish players anymore?
Good question.
I'll do what I do with the kids in class, John. I'll give you some thinking time, and you can come back to me, okay? I'll give you 2 lifelines, and then you have to answer.
Can I phone a dad? No.
He's not here, it's David.
Davey.
Please help.
It depends on the hype around the player. Louis Morgan, if you take that example, going to Celtic, I think there's a lot of kind of media hype, West Coast media, going, right, he's a prime fit for Celtic, good left winger, all this kind of nonsense. That I don't think an English club would have bothered coming in for him, especially at this stage. Natural fit. I think even if you take Stuart Armstrong and Mackay-Steven, who both went to Celtic.
Oh, darn, he's giving me
Those two.
proofs to the rules, aye. Well, Gold
were-
as well picked Sporting Lisbon from Dundee United. So.
Yeah, so you could take that comparison. Was at that time, who was the better player, Gold or Mackay-Steven?
Gold.
Right. So
Well, he
was
had more. He had more potential.
He had more potential.
Take Gold,
so
yeah.
was he out of Celtic's league at that stage, so to speak?
Perhaps
Yep. So Mackay-Steven was more
their speed.
their kind of level. Armstrong, I'm surprised, kicked on as much as he did, if I'm honest. In fact, I'm surprised he became the mainstay and it wasn't Mackay-Steven.
Well, yeah, I
thought
would agree
it
with
would be the
that.
other way round.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
I mean, but they were the top performers in the Scottish League.
I mean, Dundee United at that time were absolutely flying.
I thought they were, yeah.
They kind of collapsed after that year where they sold everybody.
They never replaced them, that was the big problem.
No, even the boy Suter now at Hearts and stuff like that.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I'm surprised with the Walker thing. I think League One is a bit of a... Wigan are in League One, aren't they?
Yep, but
Yeah,
they're top of
I
League
like
One.
They are
because
top of the league.
It's
so.
the attractiveness of
Yeah,
that.
but that's a long-term investment. Because ultimately, everyone's trying to get to the Premier League, right? The
Yes.
English Premier League. I know that. I think that's totally fair. But, Wigan's a bit of a stretch.
It's an interesting place to start if you really want to make it.
It's a big team. Well-funded, but...
Probably thinking Championship next year. Try
they
and look as
struggled
well.
in the... You
They were
remember...
horrendous in the Championship. I went and seen them home and away.
Yeah.
Following Newcastle.
Oh gosh, they're horrendous as well. Saw them at the weekend.
We'll not go there.
Team of average Joes. But you look at...
Average John Joe's usually.
But none of these guys... It's oh dear. Right, podcast title. was John Joes. But I think it's... If I were a player, I think it's the easier move to go to Rangers or Celtic. Because you look at Scott Allen, for example, right? That's another one I didn't write down. Went to England, his career nearly died.
Yep.
Right? Comes back to Hibs. Actually, this is a bad example because his career nearly died at Celtic.
No, but it makes a point though. That
It
Yeah,
does.
no, it is true.
It's very hard to prove yourself in England where you have no reputation at all.
especially if you come from a Scottish club, you're already
Oh.
behind everyone else.
We had this week on the Sofamanager Instagram, not to plug it again. You should also follow the Twitter because John's been watching some truly
Random
crap
games.
football this week.
Ah.
Did you not watch some of the English Championship games actually?
I watched the Sheffield Derby, which was utterly
Oh,
dreadful.
I've seen a bit of that. 0 shots in target.
Really?
First half. Yeah, first half, 0 shots in target.
They complain about hoofball in Scotland. My God, that was awful.
I find it really hard watching Championship games.
No, it's dreadful. I don't understand
Well,
why.
I watched a bit of Cardiff against Sunderland, and it was the atmosphere was bad. The play was slow and lethargic. It was that was Callum Patterson. That's another example who chose to
No, that's true.
to
yeah.
go down there. Examples left, right, and centre. So yeah, I don't think the quality's. They're no better than like Celtic.
You
for
can maybe
example.
look at it two ways. You can either maybe say you go down to England if you want money, you go to the old firm if you want to win things.
Absolutely. If I'm
That's
a
a good way
player,
to put it, actually.
I think I go to Rangers or Celtic. If I'm an established first team player, because Lewis Morgan will disappear into that academy for years to come.
If you're an Aberdeen star midfielder and Rangers,
I never leave.
right? Well, in theory. Okay, let's say you're at Inverness.
Right, I'll go to Aberdeen for free. No, yes.
The Old Firm come calling, and then you've got, say, 3 teams in the English Championship. You've got Ipswich, Preston, and Nottingham Forest coming for you.
Yeah.
Who do you pick?
Ooh, well, Nottingham Forest, very big team.
They're not doing too well.
Not doing too well, but
Preston's on their way up, maybe.
yeah. But then, do you pick them on the success of the club, or how much money you're getting, or
The ambition to get into the Premier League. This is.
Yeah.
It all depends on the player. It's like the guys that go to China. Like
Mhm.
Oscar Wright, drawing player at Chelsea, could have won things. No, I'll go to China, make a
Go
lot
for
of
the
money.
money, yeah.
That.
It's all
I don't know if
different
he stands
sort of.
for, but
Yeah.
The big advantage Rangers and Celtic used to have was the European football aspect. That isn't such a dead cert anymore, and no one gives a fly in the wind about the Europa League.
not usually, no.
Not really.
Not too much, no.
So I think Celtic and Rangers have a real problem now in attracting like top players. I think Celtic did excellently with someone like Scott Sinclair, quite an established star who was the sun was setting. I think that's who we end up with in Scotland at first. And I know Rangers now have a massive problem trying to attract people who weren't like boyhood fans. For example,
That's just a liquidity issue.
well, you look at the situation with managers and stuff as well, and I guess it just reflects the steady slip of the quality of Rangers and Celtic, doesn't it? Sadly,
I'd say so,
The
yeah.
whole of Scottish football. It's been on a decline for years. It doesn't. They're right in your saying we're now competing with English League One top of Championship teams down in England versus the Old Firm. We never mention an English Premier League team coming in for any one of our players now.
No.
Not a chance.
Well, they spoke recently of West Ham looking at John McGinn, and we're like, whoa, oh, Jeff Horsley's there, West Ham. Let's actually come up and look at the guy. I think they were saying actually, your pal David Moyes on Match of the Day. They were talking to Julian Lescott. Is he retired now?
He may well be.
I think he is now, yeah.
Apparently David Moyes came and scouted him like 47 times at Wolves before he decided to sign him. I was like, what? But there's rarely like a top talent that comes out. I remember you always used to look at the Championship top scorers, and it was folk like David Nugent or Andy Johnson or Cameron Jerome, and they would generally get Premier League moves.
Aye, on the back of it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
It doesn't really happen.
You don't see English Championship
No,
players
not as
moving
much
into the
now,
Premier
yeah.
League anymore. That doesn't happen.
No.
It's all foreign import. That's a different story.
Well, I guess that's part of it as well. Is the foreigners have just squeezed marginalised Scots out the game. So good on Blair Spittle, Danny Devine, and Ryan Pernis for taking those Chinese and showing them what's what. So I don't foresee any big signings a la Gascoigne or Butcher or even Souness.
I afford it.
No. It's a state of the game too, I suppose.
Well, here's a question, like watching that Liverpool game against Man City, you're thinking, how do you build a good team now? Because again, with the Nottingham Forest thing, and Aston Villa used to be top of Europe, and the way that Liverpool were built up is they had a brilliant manager in Scottish guy. Bill Shankly.
Bill Shankly.
Oh, Bill Shankly. Right.
I wondered how back you were.
I know, that's what I was
I was
thinking.
going to say
aye.
Kenny Deuchar, but
Who-
No,
who you
very
go
well.
here, yeah,
Bill
exactly.
Shankly. But he built that team to what it now is. He got them to that level of success.
He gave them the kind of platform, the history, the
To get
nostalgia
there,
and all that.
yeah.
But
You can't do that anymore.
you can't do that anymore.
You need
Money.
stupid money.
Yeah. And that's really annoying.
It's really annoying.
Football!
This is modern football.
It's modern football.
But we're never going to see Nottingham Forest. We're never going to see Aston Villa. We're never going to see Aberdeen, Dundee United.
You will though. It's just a bubble. It's just a very elongated bubble.
Yeah, but like,
And it
outright,
will burst.
Aberdeen or
And-
Dundee United will never win the European Cup again.
Probably not, but they'll get a lot further in Europe than you would expect them. Give it 5 or 10 years. Honestly,
Dundee United?
give it time.
They'll still be in the Championship. They'll still be in the Championship.
The
Yeah,
Premier
they'll
no,
get
no.
back up and they'll be back doing it.
it's just a big bubble. You know bubbles in the terms of finance, like financial crisis and all that
Right,
stuff.
now,
Right?
the physics of bubbles as a physics teacher, right? They expand. Initially quite slowly. You add more air, and what happened? Can't remember.
So it's not
Sorry.
like just an acceleration. It's like,
So you're going to say the bubble's going to eventually burst.
yes.
Do you think we need to look at the American model of it and impose budget restrictions and competition sanctions, which we've kind of tried.
You don't need to do that, though.
Do you, though? Why not? The Americans do.
I was going to say it's a moral obligation, but it's not.
A lot of other sports have budget restrictions. You know, motor racing, for one, have budget restrictions in place. Why not a football team?
You can't do it at the moment. There's too much money at the top end to do it. Post bubble, you can absolutely do it. You can almost use it as a reactive kind of remedy to it all. But like I say, give it 5 or 10 years, you'll see a change, a complete change. Foreign investors will lose interest. They'll try and pump money into their own domestic leagues. Like Chinese investors at the moment say they're looking at Newcastle. In 5 years' time, they'll not even look at that. They'll look at Shanghai Shenhua. They'll look at some Beijing team. Or
when does football die and Rocket League rise up? Is really what I'm trying to get.
Well, how they get on with hydrogen fuel cells?
Excuse me. We shall wait and see. So I think that rounds off quite an interesting debate, and one that we could rattle on for hours,
a long
days,
time.
weeks, and months. But we need to keep some content to talk about on here. Next week's topic was loners. So loners. Our favourite players that have come to our club on loan. So first question: do you like a player coming to your club on loan? Falkirk is a prime example of this right now.
We've had
and actually has been over the last 10 years.
We've had loads.
So
a
many.
Stupid amount. They get like one or two kind of cult heroes out of that. Like Kasper Schmeichel, Tim Krul.
Yeah.
They were
I guess
both
it's
on
that
loan.
cult hero aspect is the loner.
Yep. Anthony Stokes was probably one of the best loan signings we've ever had. For 6 months out of Arsenal.
I mean, in a way, it's the perfect romance. You know, you give them a short time to burst on the scene, do their thing, no strings attached. If they perform badly, sit on the bench.
Yeah, pretty much,
dump them after
yeah.
6 months. I think in more recent times, loans haven't been quite as successful as they used to be. You know, the younger players kind of. Well, I guess it is younger players now as opposed to the older ones we used to.
You don't see as many older players these days.
No.
Right?
They usually just get released and
move on a
mutual
free.
terminations and stuff.
So who were the favourite loan players, John? Give me one to start us off with.
Stokes is my favourite.
Anthony Stokes.
Absolutely. Came out of Arsenal as a 18, 19-year-old. Scores a hat-trick against Dundee United and scores a hat-trick against Dunfermline.
Did Kippy up in the corner, I think, against Dundee United as well.
Dunfermline. Away at Dunfermline. Legend.
Apparently when he left, they had to fumigate his flat because there's maggots and stuff trying to.
Seriously?
He was a bit of a psycho. There were a lot of stories when he went to Sunderland about getting kicked out of every nightclub in the North East.
I think he tried to jump through a window, and that's why when Roy Keane stopped playing him at Sunderland.
Yep.
Which was the daftest thing ever, because he could have been a top Premier League striker.
Easily. He was absolutely world class at that time. He had the pace, he had the finish. You honestly couldn't beat him.
He was great at that time.
He was one of my favourite. Kasper's the cult hero. What a keeper. For the kind of 6 months he was on loan from Man City.
Falkirk had an amazing batch of keepers between him, Danny Mallow,
Tim Krul.
Tim Krul was unbelievable. Whatever went wrong there? Bring him back actually now. Probably not a million miles away.
Sitting on the bench at Brighton.
Yeah. A few of mine. My favourite loan player. He came to Aberdeen in 2008. What's his name? Omat Sonny Aluko. Lovingly abbreviated to Sonny Aluko. This man was the best footballer I've ever seen in my life, to this day, and it still remains so. I've seen many good teams. Manchester United. That's it. But he came, he had this explosive pace and the skill. In Scotland you would never take on a man. He would take on 2 or 3 guys, and I'm sure Rangers fans will testify to this as well. I just thought that was so exciting. And those are the sort of loan players I loved, was the skillful, fast, and he obviously got that fateful goal against Bayern Munich, and scored a terrific goal against Celtic in the Old Firm derby as well, which goes down in history.
Yep.
He now plays as a striker for...
Well, he moved away from Fulham, but I can't remember where.
He's still in the Championship. I've got a feeling they're playing blue. Is it Cardiff?
Maybe Cardiff, maybe Ipswich. Not Ipswich.
Not Ipswich.
No, it's right.
We'll get back to you on that. So my favourite player, I currently don't know where he is. Shows you how dedicated I am to that. And then, of course, we had James Maddison on loan last season. That stunning free kick against Rangers, again, it'll go down in history. The boy's range of passing was insane, and to the point where at Norwich this season he's been unbelievable, and he'll be going for 10, 20 million, I fully believe, in the next wee while to one of the big teams.
Well, he's English as well, eh?
He is English, he's not doomed with a football Scottish generic guff.
Nah, that'll mean he'll go quite far.
I'm sorry.
Well, no, I don't know. I can't think of any more.
Can't get any more.
Falkirk.
Who was the last one I had? Jean. Well, I don't think he was on loan, but Jean-Francois Lessenel when he played with Falkirk. He played about 3 or 4 games. Came from the French 4th division.
Yeah.
Again, pace, skill, dribble past like 4 folk, then decided didn't fancy Falkirk. Went on trial with Aberdeen, ended up at Swindon, heaven knows where he is now. From Haiti.
Haiti?
Lovely wee country.
No, he wasn't from Trinidad.
No.
It was Denzel Theobald.
Played for Trinidad in the World Cup, couldn't he start a game for Falkirk?
God knows
Absolutely
what happened
crazy.
there. God, I can't think. I think I'm...
Well, they had
Mine's been blank.
Lyle Taylor. Was he a
he
Falkirk
was
player?
permanent signing. Can't remember, he came from like a non-league team down in England. He's absolutely roasting at Wimbledon just now.
He was a brilliant. He was actually so good that as a championship player, got himself as a pundit on the BBC TV highlights coverage.
Yep.
Oh, right, yeah.
How? That's never happened before or since. Like, I have no idea how that happened. He was terrific at it. Absolutely terrific. Enoch Shomney wasn't on loan, I apologise. He was a full signing.
Colin Healy wasn't on loan, but he was mince.
Well, that's the reverse point of this, in that loan signings can play completely mince, and you realise after a week it was a bad
You
idea.
don't want them.
A lot of duds, a lot of kind of... They done a job, but it was nothing outstanding.
We get a load. Well, that was another good one. Sterling Albion had James Rodriguez. Oh, not James Rodriguez.
That guy.
J. Rodriguez. They had James Rodriguez on loan. No, that's a mistake. J. Rodriguez on loan, which is absolutely insane. St Mirren at one point had, I think, some of the Newcastle guys. I saw Paul Dummett was playing.
Paul Dummett won the League Cup with St Mirren.
Did he?
Yep.
I can't believe he's still at Newcastle.
Believe me, neither can I.
They showed, though, because on Sky News the other week they were talking about scorers from different countries.
All right, yeah.
And one of the scorers, I don't know where he's from, but it was Gail Biggery Mana. And like his only appearance for Newcastle, scored a screamer, and it was his only goal in the Premier League.
French.
He's not French. He's from, I think it must be one of these islands or something.
Oh,
out that way.
Guadeloupe or something like that.
So it could be Guadeloupe actually. It's one of those, which I thought was interesting. So there's been quite a lot of dud loans. Like, legends generally don't pan out that well as loans. Like, you know, Roy Keane at Celtic, and
Or Goldie, Freddie Lundberg. I don't know if they were loans or permanent.
I think they're permanent, but probably felt like a loan, didn't
Yeah,
they?
Like a loan, yeah.
Short-term signings.
You get a few, like, recovering from injuries, you might get a good loan player. Your team, Barcelona, have they ever had anyone in on loan?
No
Darren?
really big standout players now.
You don't really need anyone in on loan.
It's more Barca B that get the loan players, really.
Loan players out like there's no tomorrow.
Yeah, aye. It's more the other way, obviously.
You look at Man City could put together, must be about 30 teams with all the players they have out on loan.
Not easy.
I think most of the big teams could do that, yeah.
That's crazy. Absolutely crazy.
Chelsea, they're another one. They go loan mad.
They're just like a used car dealership.
But they own clubs around the world. That Vitesse Arnhem's owned by Chelsea.
They had real problems the year I think they nearly qualified for the Champions League because they couldn't be in the same
couldn't
competition
do it,
together because of the ownership. Something really dodgy with all that jazz. But it's funny that. But no, I do love the loners. Can't remember in recent times. No, really.
It's
Anyone,
a good system.
It is a good system. There's not many people on loan this year that are that good.
I don't know, there's a whole bunch of bang average boys at Falkirk at the moment. I think the Robson boys
Young
signed
lads.
permanently. Nelson's on loan.
To be fair, Nelson actually looks quite strong, which for our youngsters, pretty handy for the weedy guys that we put out.
He's only like 20-year-old, eh? So.
Well, Liam Henderson must have been on loan. Was he permanent?
Did he release?
Was it Hibs and then he moved to Celtic?
No,
Or
he was on loan at Hibs.
That must
He's
be one
on
of the most
loan,
successful
yeah.
loans.
Probably.
To win the Scottish Cup, get promoted,
And then go back to Celtic and
And
never
go back-
feature again.
pretty much.
Well, that was the thing. Sorry, Aluko, brilliant job for Aberdeen. Signed him.
Mhm.
You know, you're not always that lucky. Like Stokes, I think left Arsenal for about 2.5 million, 3.5 million.
But 2 million at the time for a 19-year-old to go to Sunderland.
Everyone wanted him after that. That doesn't happen anymore. in
That
our
was a-
league.
Was that a January transfer window as well, if I remember right?
Something like that.
Because we tried to keep him permanent. Well, to the end of the season.
All right, okay. I was amazing.
Couldn't afford that.
Must have scored like 14 goals.
14 goals in 9 games. It was phenomenal.
I miss those days.
Me too.
Bring back him and Higdon and like all those.
Maybe no Higdon.
Higdon was a beast.
Lappy. Bring back Lappy.
Maybe. Anyway, time to round off in our matches of the week.
Yay!
Brackets working titles, what I called it at the start. So we've each picked 2 games. I've picked 2 games this week. Realised we haven't discussed this earlier, so if anyone has picked the same game as each other, we might have a bit of a problem.
Oh, believe me, that is not a problem today.
Okay, so I'll go first, since John's looking at his tablet to actually open it in a really backwards way.
So stupid.
First game I've gone for is West Ham against Bournemouth. You know, again, since Darren looks like David Moyes, he's Scottish.
I was going to say why.
Ryan Fraser is Scottish.
That's the only
He
reason.
plays with Bournemouth. And, of course, Bournemouth beat Arsenal this weekend. So they're on a high. West Ham, quite a good victory against
That team.
Stoke, was it?
Anybody I could beat Stoke on my good day.
Oh no, it was 3-1. Was it
Was
Huddersfield?
it 0-4-1? Huddersfield.
Huddersfield.
Yeah.
Huddersfield, there we go. So both teams on a high right now. So I think this could be quite an interesting clash at West Ham in the London Stadium. So that's why I picked that fixture.
Very good.
Do you think it's too mainstream? Do we do predictions or do we? No.
It's just to chat about what you're looking forward
Just
to.
chat about looking forward to. I'm liking West Ham. Like, see, I think Arnautovic is a really interesting player.
You want it to be really good, and I think he can be really good, but just a mentality thing with the guy.
I know. I
He's
thought.
Austrian, they're all
Shh.
awkward.
Oh dear. I thought him and Lanzini were brilliant at the weekend, and I'm a big fan of the likes of Cresswell and stuff.
Yang
like
as well up front. Is it Yang? Obiang.
Obiang. Yeah.
Yes.
I think
Good
it's a good squad they've put together. Yeah, really interesting to watch. Just not started well, but I think up to 11th now. I think Bournemouth, like Eddie Howe's just such a good manager. Such a good manager.
Considering the size of the club, he's done a brilliant job.
He deserves a bigger move. He should have got the Everton job, in my opinion. That's
Exactly.
a different story.
I think he should get the Arsenal job. Get rid of Wenger.
That's what he's apparently lined up for. Right, John.
I went for Leeds versus Millwall. Was my first game.
I couldn't care less about English Championship.
That's a traditional derby.
how Leeds have never promoted back up to the Premier League as a joke. Like,
Succession of mismanagement
well, it is.
at all levels.
Is it still that random Italian that's in charge?
Probably.
Probably. Was it Massimo?
Yeah, it wasn't Chiellini.
Something dodgy.
Well, I went for this because it's a traditional English fixture, and I'm amazed it's going ahead at 3 o'clock on a Saturday, given everything that precedes it.
Well, are Millwall fans still nutters?
Probably.
Aye. Are they not attacking the terrorists on London Bridge and stuff like that?
As our Leeds fans.
Millwall haven't been riding that high for the last few seasons, though, have they? Really?
Leeds are. You think they're doing quite well, and they're really not when you start looking at it. They're just outside the playoffs. They got beat off Newport in the FA Cup 2 weeks ago, and then got beat off Ipswich as well.
We've got quite a
Wasn't
good, Swedish defender. He's a gold card in FIFA. That's why he stands out in the Championship. And then, of course, the Scottish boy that never really plays.
Liam Cooper. You never know if he's going to be any good. I wouldn't expect him to be in Scotland squads. Probably will because he's an English Championship player, but we'll see how we get on. Millwall has a Scottish keeper as well. Whose name I've now forgotten.
Professional podcasting brought to you by Sofamanager.
Jordan Archer.
Jordan Archer, there you go.
We'll see how they get on. They've already met this season at the Den. Millwall won 1-0.
Ooh.
Curious fact about this as well. That's now 7 games in a row where the home team has won the tie.
Really?
Is that right?
So put all your money on Millwall to win the reverse at Ellen Road.
Right, okay, because now that we've given that stat to you, it'll be wrong. Oh dear.
And nobody's won by 2 clear goals, so don't put stupid bets on.
Okay. Well, that's quite good tips advice. I think you're brave to go for a championship game. I hate that when it appears in Super 6. You're like, I have
no
any
idea.
Not have any
I've had
clue
any
most of
chance
the time.
anyway, but
Another game. Do you know what? I really wish I'd picked an Australian game now because of how well Ross McCormack is doing.
Melbourne City.
Yeah.
Is he actually doing? No, he's not in Melbourne City. Hey, he is. No, he's not.
He plays in light blue.
It's Melbourne,
Yeah.
it's Melbourne.
But is it Melbourne Heart or is it Melbourne?
Oh, who cares? He's at Melbourne. He's now got, I think, 12 goals, which is
City,
like,
I'm
Melbourne
sure
City. Melbourne City.
which is like equal to a league record. However,
Is that right?
8 of those are set pieces. So I'm a bit like,
It's a lazy get another
yeah, it's kind of cheating. So I kind of wish I'd gone for those games. The next game I've gone for, though, is Stirling Albion versus Edinburgh City. So, Edinburgh City kind of been on the up recently since they got a new manager, James Donoghue.
The Castle Derby.
Oh yes, it is kind of, yes. The castle logos, Wallace Monument, of course, in the shadow of Forth Bank, or Forth Bank in the shadow of Wallace Monument's probably the more accurate phrase there. But Stirling kind of been on a really interesting game last weekend. They just fell short at Peterhead 4-3. So very exciting game. 2 top teams. Peterhead have been smashing it recently. I think that's 2 4-3s in a row for Peterhead.
Yeah, and they've got quite an interesting tie in the Scottish Cup. Forget the team, but it's one of those games you look at and go, that could be a bit of a banana skin. It's a Premier League team, I'm sure they're playing.
Well, Peterhead have
Dumbarton.
the budget to do much better.
Is it Inverness we talk about?
No,
Peterhead.
Is it
Peterhead.
I think it's Dumbarton.
I've got it
Something
here.
like that.
Dumbarton, no, you're
It's
right.
Dumbarton.
But no, Scott Shepherd been playing quite well with Edinburgh City from loan from
There's a loan
Falkirk,
sign in there.
which is, it's quite ironic, I would say, and
Found his level, that's all that's happened.
I think so. But Stirling Albion striker Darren Smith has been punting them in for fun recently. So if you're looking for a wee transfer tip to someone, I think a championship player who could come off the bench and make an impact, not a starter.
Yeah.
Yep, Darren Smith.
He's been doing well for
One to
them
look
for a
out.
while, actually.
He has. I think 17, 18 goals this season. Going by the journalist that sat next to me the other week. So, I think that'll be quite an interesting tie. They're kind of coming together in the league. Stirling falling back, Edinburgh City kind of rising up. So that's why I picked that fixture.
I've been for a midweek one.
Oh,
I've went for warmer climes.
oh.
This is the Jamaican Red Stripe
Oh
Premier
my
League.
Oh my goodness.
How did you come across
I have no
that?
idea. It caught my eye though. This is Portmore versus Humble Lions FC.
Oh,
Cool name.
Humble Lions.
Would you like to know some stuff?
Yeah, go for it.
Go for it, John.
Portmore United are currently top of the league, 4 wins and 5, only 2 losses in 20. Pretty decent
That's a
record.
good record.
Their top scorer is a guy called Jovan Romario East, 23-year-old.
Where's Jovan Romario West?
This is his 3rd season at Portmore. Probably been there since a youngster. He's actually scored 28 goals in 52 appearances, which is more than Nathan Austin.
How's their stats? What are these guys' full-time jobs? Is my question.
Ricardo Wayne is second top scorer with 11. Out with Portmore, he's also spent time at the Tampa Bay Rowdies.
Really?
Wow.
Who aren't even professional?
Yep. Some former notable players include Omar Daly. That ring a bell?
Nope.
Used to play for
Recognise
Motherwell.
the name.
Did
man.
he?
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
Scored his first goal in a winner against Aberdeen back in 2011.
Did he? Not a game I remember going to.
He played a total of 39 games with 3 goals.
That's all right.
Well,
Was this over 2 seasons?
aye.
That's all right. 20 games a season.
I thought you were going to say like 5 seasons.
Yeah, that's all right.
We've only got 2 internationals, 2 Jamaican internationals, Ricardo Morris and Rosario Harriet. Meanwhile,
Michael Hector from Jamaica.
what was he?
Check
Who's the
that.
boy who plays for Leicester? Is it Winston? It's not Winston.
Reed Churchill.
No, it's not Winston. He plays for Jamaica.
Morgan.
Aye,
Captain.
yes, he's Jamaican.
Wes
Um,
Morgan.
There's other guys who played in Scotland that were Jamaican. Names escape me, but
Michael Hector.
there is connections.
Michael Hector plays with Jamaica, former Aberdeen on loan centre back, now plays with Chelsea because they got narked that Everton wouldn't sell him John Stones.
Lovely. Meanwhile, the Humble Lions.
Mm-hmm.
Great name, by the way. They're third bottom, sadly. One.
He's reading this like it's a primary school novel. The Humble Lions. Great name. Third bottom. Sadly. Sad face. Cry. Oh.
1 win, 3 draws, 1 loss in the last 5. Only 4 wins all season. And this is after 21 games, so they're on a par with Falkirk in terms of their record this season.
I think there's nothing we can compare to between these two teams, John.
They've got a 36-year-old veteran who scored 4 goals this season. Top scorer. They called Wolrye Wolf.
Right?
Great name again.
Oh, you're doing this. God, there is a name.
He's played his entire career in Jamaica, apart from a short spell in the Hungary, Of all the countries in the world, you can go play.
Is this a midweek fixture, did you say?
Yes, Wednesday night.
Okay, how can we catch it, John?
8 o'clock.
What time? What is our time it'll be on?
8 o'clock in... No, that's 8 o'clock UK time, so it must be on about 2 in the afternoon.
What channel, John?
Nobody works in Kingston.
The Jamaican bobsleigh team, because it's about the same time as TV is the Winter Olympics.
The bit that really caught my eye, though, is they have a Dr. James Thomas, MD,
Right.
as a striker.
Brilliant.
He'll be well paid. He might be well paid, I don't know.
They have their own version of Kenny Deuchar.
Title idea number 2, Jamaican Kenny Deuchar.
Yeah, man.
Oh my gosh. This has descended into a farce. Right, next question, John.
Oh,
How did you actually come across this fixture?
well, it was difficult to choose because there wasn't a huge amount of games this week that caught my eye.
Right.
So I picked the one with a cool name.
I feel bad going for West Ham Bournemouth now.
I'm just looking forward to the Scottish Cup game.
Right,
That's boring.
let's round it off. Darren, what are your games you're looking forward to?
My games, I'd probably say Aberdeen, actually, your team,
Oh, St Mirren.
against St Mirren. I'm looking forward to
Yeah,
that.
that's a good shout.
Just to try and see how St Mirren are
How
progressing.
bad the championship is,
No,
yes.
because they've done well against Celtic in previous years and things. So
And will we come
That's
back
it.
tanned and rested from our time in Dubai? Adam Renee will have an STD for some random bird he's been. Who's that? So I think Christie and Mackay-Steven have been holidaying together.
Oh, have they?
Who knows what they've managed to get up to with each other. So
But I'm looking forward to it. It should be a good game, I think, and I will be interested to see if St Mirren could actually get a victory there, considering they've done well in the Championship this season, and
they've been
Aberdeen, they've played okay at times.
they've
but
been playing, so they're warmed up
yeah.
and they're ready for it. Whereas we've been playing some Uzbekistanis.
And then the second game I'm looking forward to is probably just Fraserburgh versus Rangers, because I always quite like the lower league game, and then against the bigger team. I quite like that.
Farce, but
I know. I'm sorry, John. It's no Jamaican.
nah, it's no named
Derby.
after a beer or anything.
There
It's
you
just
go.
disappointing.
Yeah, it could be. Have they been to Fraser? Are Fraserburgh Highland League?
Yes. Of course
they
they
are.
are.
Wow. So
yeah.
Rangers haven't actually been there before.
No,
Oh, I wouldn't assume so.
I don't know. They fell down the leagues years ago. Who knows?
Pyramid system.
Could happen again if you look at the betting odds.
But yeah, I'd say the
We
two
won't
games
win
I'm looking forward
I think those are good. So I guess that rounds off matches of the week.
I think I might put some money on Fraserburgh.
You do that. Try and put money on Jamaica. I'll give you £10 if you can find any betting company that will take your money on that game.
Challenge accepted.
Come to Sofamanager Betting, the new establishment for you to bet on things you have no idea about. Such as Scottish football, for our case. Anyway, I think that's time to round off the podcast this week. So I say thank you for joining us, David, Darren.
Thank you. Thanks for listening, everyone.
Thank you for joining us, John.
Cheers.
And thanks from me, Paul, for joining us. So have a good evening, a good afternoon, and a good morning.